So we bought this MGB as a ex-race car, and we dug into the suspension. There was almost nothing upgraded in a way that made any sense. It's not usual that you can just stick your hand in and pull the coil springs out. It's not a good sign. Besides that, the whole front end is basically stock. So we went to Massa Motors and we got their coilover kit. It's pretty sweet. It replaces the upper and lower arms. These have what are called lever shocks up front. So instead of having a linear shock that works with a rod inside of a case, it is sort of a box and it bolts right to the upper arm, and it's super weird. So we're gonna get rid of that and convert it over to a regular linear shock. They sent us over some shocks. Our buddies at QA1 replicated those with spring rates that we like, so we can run QA1 stuff all the way around. So what they want you to do is bolt this template plate in to your upper lever arm mount and drill like 65 little baby holes. And then I guess knock it out. But we're just gonna hammer it out with a plasma cutter.
I'm either gonna cut a hole in this or cut a hole in my arm, one or the other.
Try for both.
Something's getting cut, that's all I got to say.
So the Massa Motors Kit replaces that upper arm / lever shock with some billet blocks and 2-piece upper arms and a place to bolt the coil over in the middle. So the other part of the kit is to replace the central part of the lower arm, which is just a spring pocket, with this insert, which is now pick up a coilover shock and spring combo.
Okay, so the upper and lower control arms are installed. The QA1 shocks are installed. I see that these rotors have seen an enormous amount of heat. Do you know anything about that?
No, couldn't be me. Huh. It's probably me holding on for dear life.
They're still smoking from the last time you drove them.
Terrible. So because we had to move the steering rack forward and down a little bit in our MG to clear the Ford 5-liter engine, I had to now move the sway bar. I built these spacers, and I'm gonna make a much shorter end link to connect it to this lower A-arm. All right, so that's it for the front sway bar. I lowered the bar down the 4 inches to clear the motor, and then wound up using a much shorter end link to connect it to the control arm, and it should be good to go, and hopefully Lucky's done with the back.
So I just got done fabricating a little rear sway bar mount that doubles as a floor reinforcement, because the fuel cell is going to sit back here. Fix it with fire. There's a lot of things on this car that are going to break. However, the rear sway bar / floor reinforcement mount will not break. Maybe.
All right, so Lucky's buttoning up the rear suspension, just a couple odds and ends, making sure everything is tight, and we're good to go back there. Now the car's gonna be a 4-lug regular bolt-on wheel in the back, so I went out, found a MG Triumph dismantler in Ohio that sent me these regular bolt-up 4-lug hubs so I can run a regular wheel in the front too, so they'll match. And what's nice is I also took this opportunity to go to Massa Motors and finally upgrade the terrifying brakes on these things. They have a cool slotted and drilled rotor package that comes with EBC pad green ones, which are pretty burly. So between these front brakes and rears that actually work, this thing might be somewhat safe to drive. So those sweet brakes are finally on the car. One last thing to make sure this thing actually handles. I went up to my buddies at Falk and they sent over a couple of 205 5015 RT615K. These tires are awesome. And you know what? It's time to take this thing to the track.
We're gonna paint it black and hit the track.